everyone. Today let us nurture wisdom within the mind, within this life element that is formless, empty, clear, and pure. We are the life element. We are the immortal element. We have no form or shape. Within the very substance of our pure element, there is no movement, no coming or going. It neither arises nor ever disintegrates. It is the eternal element itself. We do not need to seek purity through any method or practice, for this pure nature already exists within us. In it there is no time, no distance. It merges as one with all things. It is the source element of all elements, the primordial origin. Indeed, we ourselves are that pure Dhamma element being spoken of. This pure nature, this original element, has been covered and obscured by fabrication. We ourselves have created these fabrications that veil our own true nature. Why did we create such fabrications that conceal what we truly are? Because we wish to know and learn about all things, even to understand our own Dhamma element. In order to experience and know all phenomena, fabrication had to arise. This is the very beginning, the root cause. Imagine pure, transparent emptiness, already pure in its own nature, yet it cannot perceive, express, or create any manifestation without an instrument. We are that instrument, the very element itself. This is the original source of our life element. We do not need to search for liberation from suffering anywhere, for all the many paths we pursue in our quest for freedom are not true liberation. We may change bodies countless times, taking human forms, celestial forms, animal forms, even divine forms. Yet no matter how many times we change, what we continue to experience is suffering. Do you see? Freedom from suffering is truly simple. It is only this: do not create any fabrications that cover the pure element, and let this be seen with wisdom. The phrase, "do not fabricate through wisdom," means that we must awaken to the truth of our original element. We must clearly understand and accept that nothing whatsoever belongs to us. Suppose we wear a spacesuit while living on Earth and go about our daily life that way. Then a sage comes and says, "Why wear the spacesuit? You can live freely on this Earth without it." We might be surprised and say, "But this spacesuit protects me. With it, I will not suffer from anything." The sage replies, "Even without that suit, there is no suffering. You need not wear anything, nor rely on any method at all, and still, there is no suffering." This is the nature of wisdom. There was once a sage who worked like everyone else, yet he never suffered from the work he did. No matter how chaotic or demanding it became, he was never disturbed. In contrast, those who are not wise live each working day burdened by restlessness and stress. When pressure builds up, they escape to nightlife for relief, only to return with greater suffering, losing money, health, and time. The next morning, they wake to more suffering as they return to work, trapped again in the same cycle. But the sage remains untroubled by anything at all. Whatever comes to him, he simply knows it as it is and fulfills his duty as it is. When problems arise that need to be solved, he solves them. When there is conflict with subordinates, he corrects them. When the boss scolds him, he accepts it. He smiles through it all, resolving what needs to be resolved, performing his duty fully. When work ends, it truly ends. He lets go completely. Having done his best, he goes home in peace. Even at home, if conflicts arise, he handles them calmly, does what needs to be done, and then lets them pass. He smiles softly at everything and rests peacefully when it is time to sleep. The sage abides in a knowing that rests upon not being anything. He sees that nothing at all truly is anything. Upon waking, he prepares for the day, cooks breakfast, and goes to work. not in a luxury car like others, but simply by bus. His life is ordinary, natural, and unburdened. He walks for exercise and feels content as he goes. When he arrives at the factory, he gives himself fully to his work. When problems arise, he resolves them, and nothing disturbs him. If the boss scolds him, he explains calmly. If the boss still refuses to listen and speaks harshly, he accepts it. He simply continues doing his duty, smiling as he gives his best to every task. He enjoys his work. When he solves a problem and reports back, the boss is pleased and praises him. He feels glad, smiles, and moves on. Nothing more, for this is just how nature flows. At lunchtime, he eats while watching the news or listening to Dhamma teachings. When the body feels full, he knows it is full, and that's all, nothing special. During his break, he walks to digest his meal and listens to more Dhamma, feeling relaxed and at ease. The sage listens to the teachings of awakened knowing and remains at peace. When work resumes, he works wholeheartedly, fulfilling his role completely. Whatever task is given, he gives his best. If he can help a colleague, he does. If a colleague creates problems that make his job heavier, he still carries on, seeing it as an exercise, nothing to complain about. He works fully, without resistance. When the day ends, if the boss tells him that his workload is too heavy and promises to find someone to help, he simply acknowledges it and continues doing his part. He does what can be done, fully and sincerely, and that is enough. He lives from a state of not being anything. The sage does not cling, does not grasp, does not suffer, and does not fabricate restless thoughts. Having listened to the Dhamma of awakened knowing, he understands. It's just like this. Life is simply not anything. When the workday ends, he goes home peacefully, setting down all burdens. He knows that work is merely an exchange of energy for material elements, what we call money. The sage understands well that this paper we have invented and called money is only a tool, a means for exchanging our effort and knowledge. What the human world calls money, one may gather and keep, yet in truth, life requires so little to live. A simple meal in the morning, another at noon, is enough. Returning home, one lives quietly with one's family, caring for them with ease and contentment. There is joy in simplicity, playing with one's children, teaching them gently, speaking with one's partner and parents in the understanding that life is only ordinary, transient, and natural. This body, too, follows the law of nature. It is born to decline, just as a car, once new, rusts and wears with time. No matter how well we care for it, it will still grow old, fall ill, and finally perish, for that is its way. Illnesses arise one after another: fatigue, fever, pain, weakness, all of them quietly reminding us that the body is fading. So let us not cling to it as me or mine. The body is born to age, to grow sick, and to die. Yet there is one nature that never changes: the mind, the life element within us, vast, empty, clear, and utterly pure. If this pure element has not yet realized its own true nature, if we have not yet awakened to the fact that we are this pure element, then when the body dies, the mind will seek another form to inhabit. This is what the world calls spirit or soul, moving from body to body, because it has not yet known its own essence. Everything we depend upon here is merely a temporary instrument. Even this body is only a tool, one that cannot be used for long. Why must we dwell in a human body? Only to experience and to learn. The voice that speaks now is merely an instrument for communication, born of fabrication, yet it is not who we are. We are the life element itself, boundless, luminous, and pure. The thoughts that arise and the voice within that seems to speak are but natural functions of the element itself. They arise, speak, and cease by their own nature. Even what is spoken now fabricates itself. Mental images form on their own. Emotions arise by their own nature, joy, sorrow, calm, or neutrality, all unfolding according to their essence. See this clearly. It is all nature, functioning as it does, not belonging to anyone. We only need not cling to it as me. Memory, too, functions by itself. Awareness knows by itself. It hears through the ear, sees through the eye, smells through the nose, tastes through the tongue, and through the skin, senses warmth and cold, all happening by itself, effortlessly, as the movement of nature knowing itself. If this pure element within us has not yet awakened to its own pristine nature, if we have not yet realized that we ourselves are this pure element, then when this body dies, the mind will seek another body to inhabit. This is what the world calls spirit or soul. The spirit, not yet knowing its own purity, continues to wander, seeking form, because it has not realized that it is already the pure element. Everything we depend upon here is only a temporary tool. Even this body is a tool, useful only for a short time. Why must we take on a human form? It is so that the process of fabrication can occur. The voice that communicates now is part of that process, a tool of expression, but it is not who we are. We are the life element itself, clear, luminous, and boundlessly pure. The voice that speaks, and the inner voice that thinks and murmurs within, are simply natural expressions. They fabricate on their own. They speak on their own. Even what is being spoken right now arises and expresses itself by its own nature. Mental images arise by themselves. Emotions form on their own, sometimes pleasant, sometimes unpleasant, sometimes calm or neutral. They each perform their function naturally. See this clearly. It is all just nature at work. It is not anything personal. We only need not cling to it as me. Memory works the same way. The act of knowing that is happening right now functions by itself. You hear this sound. See? It knows on its own. It remembers on its own. It smells through the nose, hears through the ear, sees through the eye, tastes through the tongue, and through the skin. It senses warmth and cold, all by itself. This is nature knowing itself, doing what it does, without ever being anything at all. If you look closely, you can see that knowing is always present by itself. There is no me in any of these activities. We are the life element that has no shape, vast, empty, clear, and utterly pure. Let none of us cling to the things described as me. Even the voice that speaks is not who we are. There is no father. There is no mother. Do not cling to father. Do not cling to mother. All of these things are only the life element, the mind we temporarily inhabit. We merely borrow these vessels. In this final life, fulfill your duties fully and completely. Everything exists in its own way. When we awaken in the morning, thoughts arise immediately. Ah, it's time. We rise from bed. Have you noticed that it is we who move the body out of bed, even while feeling that the body has not rested enough, yet we still lift it up to go on? We do this so that we can quickly eat a light breakfast of fruit and yogurt and get to work. We can see the mind's urgency, its rush, the way it wants to use every moment to accomplish what was planned. We rush to reach work before 8. In the time between waking and arriving at the workplace, there is rushing to take care of the body, to eliminate waste, to bathe, to prepare, to eat breakfast, to set out on our way. All of this is just nature. It is nothing personal. While we sit at home eating breakfast, We eat, and it tastes as it tastes. This morning's breakfast might be fruit and yogurt, and we lift a spoonful into our mouth, tasting its very suchness. The mind labels. Oh, how pleasant, how gentle for the stomach in the morning. This is the inner voice speaking. Can you see the inner voice? Here in the morning, eating something light, it feels gentle. This voice is just speaking by itself. This is the way of teaching. If a sage who is a father or a mother were to teach the family, they might say, "Do you notice the voice inside? Ah, this fruit and yogurt in the morning feels gentle, cool, and light in the body. Do you see the voice speaking like this? Even the voice that comes out of the mouth. How is it, my child? Is it tasty, my child? Do you see the voice speaking like this? This voice is only a tool, isn't it? A tool we borrow for communication in this conventional world. Remember, we cannot remain long in this world. We have come to borrow this body for a while. Soon the body will dissolve. During our time here, we should live without suffering. We should live like a sage, one of wisdom. Listen to my recordings. Listen to the teaching of awakened knowing. Play my recordings on the Panyavimutti channel so that everyone can hear the teaching of awakened knowing. All of us have a mind, but we do not know it. We are lost, believing we are this body. We have forgotten that we are the mind, the life element that has no form, clear and pure. We do not know this truth. Instead, we believe we are human, we are this body. That is not enough. This is only the outer shell we inhabit. There is a subtler layer we also inhabit. The coarse layer is the body. We have clung to this coarse layer as me. The subtle layer is the voice itself. This voice we borrow. Who would imagine that the voice we borrow is not who we are? Who would know that we are the life element, empty, clear, utterly pure? In this empty clarity there is nothing at all. There is not even the slightest ripple. It has no form. Our pure life element has no form, no sound. It is mute and cannot speak. It has no tool to produce a voice, no tool to form an image. Within it there is no image, no sound. There is no emotion of pleasure, no emotion of pain, no emotion at all, not even neutrality or calm. Within it, there is no manifestation of any kind. It is utterly still, cool, and silent. It holds no memories. And in this purity, there is not even the act of perception, because within it, there is absolutely nothing. It cannot perceive anything. It has no instrument with which to perceive. Do you understand? Within it, there is only purity. This is our pure element, and yet we do not recognize it. We have created instruments to use for perceiving, for fabricating experience, and then we have become attached to those instruments until we forget that we are the pure element itself. This is why we become lost and suffer, clinging to what is not us. We suffer from the moment we wake until the moment we sleep, entangled in everything, taking everything so seriously. Meanwhile, the wise one who continually listens to the teaching of awakened knowing sees that nothing at all is truly anything. Do you realize that even the voice now speaking is the subtle instrument we are borrowing? The body is coarse. No need to even mention it. This body will soon break apart. It cannot last long. Time is running out each day. Who knows? Tomorrow could be this body's last day. If we do not awaken to the pure element, we will go seeking another body, and it will be an animal body. Creatures that are eaten, creatures that destroy one another, beings born only for suffering, creatures of water, land, underground, winged, of the air, even of outer space, all struggling to eat and be eaten, without any rule. At the slightest mistake, they are harmed. Life there is a constant struggle, needing the utmost vigilance. There are no rules at all. To gain a human vessel is exceedingly rare. If we have not yet awakened to realize that we are the pure element, we will keep wandering, seeking tools to continue learning. We are the pure, clear element. Nothing, no one, not anything at all. The life element within us yearns to understand, and the only true knowledge it seeks is to know itself, to realize that it is the pure, empty, radiant life element. Have we come to know ourselves yet? Or are we still lost in the belief that this body is who we are? But look, if this body were truly us, why must we grow old? Can we command it, saying, "Don't age, body"? Will it obey? Why does the body fall ill, develop cancer, depression, deteriorate, lose strength, lose its senses? Eyes blur, teeth decay, skin wrinkles, muscles weaken, bones ache. It all declines and breaks apart. We once said this body was ours, but what part of it has ever truly been us? It was once healthy. Now it suffers countless diseases. Food that once tasted delightful now brings little joy or even pain. Teeth that once chewed easily now ache. Eyes that once saw clearly now blur. Ears that once heard well now fade. Even lying down brings soreness. Bones creak and snap. The body is wearing out, crumbling toward dissolution. And yet we still call it me. Where truly is that me in all this? This truth is always revealing itself to us, but few can see. Only the wise discern it, that this body is not who we are. Such sages live without suffering. For them, the body is simply what it is, something born to decay. Its arising and passing belong to the body, not to us. We are merely dwelling here for a little while. The wise know even this, that the voice speaking now is not truly their voice. This is the subtle understanding. We are merely dwelling in it for a while. Whatever the voice says, let it speak according to its own causes and conditions. It only speaks of what is beneficial to this world. It tells the world, through this very sound, that none of us truly are anything. We are the pure, clear life element that is not anything, not anyone, and not bound to anything at all. Do you see? The reason we cling to the body as me, and to this voice as my voice, is because we don't yet understand. But none of this truly belongs to us. It is only a temporary tool. This voice, too, is just a tool. Don't cling to it. What draws us in is not the voice itself, but the meaning carried within it. When this voice says, "I am suffering so deeply," those words carry meaning, and we flow into that meaning. We drift into the sound's dimension. The words "I am suffering" give rise to images, stories, and tears, sorrow, loneliness, and inner pain. We sink into the dimension of sound, into the realm of meaning. When we hear, "I am suffering so much," the mind projects a picture, a reason for that pain. We see ourselves crying, broken-hearted, feeling as though someone has torn at our hearts. We think, "He insulted me, looked down on me, left me, refused to help me, stopped loving me, neglected me, spoke harshly." And all of this comes from our flowing into the meaning of suffering, entering the echo of the words, "I suffer." Within that echo, the mind creates scenes, commentary, and feelings. Inside, a voice keeps narrating why we suffer, shaping images and sensations. And we, the listeners, are drawn completely into that imagined world, feeling as though someone were cutting deep into our very hearts. Do you see? We create imagination and sink into the sounds through which we communicate, absorbed, emotional, believing them to be real. When will we awaken? When will we wake up from these tools of perception? What I am saying now is to offer wisdom. I no longer doubt anything. I am no longer anyone. I have realized the mind as the pure, empty, radiant life element. This is how I know, awakened within, seeing clearly that the very voice speaking here is what creates every story. This voice says, that tree is an apple tree. But look, the tree itself does not speak. Go to the market, and the voice says, oh, look at those beautiful vegetables. There are lettuce, cabbages, cucumbers. The voice speaks, but those things don't. Look again. Oh, there are tomatoes, carrots, and oranges. Oh, how fresh. How pretty. Should I buy some? Maybe some chili peppers too. The voice keeps speaking, giving meaning to everything. Yet the things themselves remain silent. They never say a word. They are only appearances known through awareness. But who can truly see in this way? I have come to see the workings of the vessel we inhabit, the workings of the body, of the voice, and of the images that appear in the mind. When awareness awakens within, it begins to see everything as it is. While speaking, it sees. While thinking, it sees. When joy or laughter arises, it sees. When sorrow, anger, or loneliness arises, it sees. Even calmness and neutrality are seen. Every emotion is known. Every movement of the mind is seen clearly and continuously. Through this seeing, understanding dawns. Ah, so this is how nature truly works. Memory remembers by its own nature. Feelings arise and pass by themselves. The knowing knows. The remembering remembers. The imagining imagines. The speaking mind produces words silently within or aloud. And all of this, all these inner activities, are simply natural processes. None of them are me. As this seeing deepens, life itself becomes transparent. Working, walking, feeling tired, everything is seen as it is, a natural condition of the body, nothing more. The wise see in this way that nature is not a person, not a self. I too have seen that there is no me. The knowing knows by itself. When this question arises within, where is the one who knows? It is as though something bursts open at the center of the chest. The body dissolves into fine particles, and every assumption of being human, the voice, the image, the emotion, the memory, all shatter into pure clarity. In that instant, everything becomes luminous, merging with the whole universe. What remains is the formless life element, crystal clear, utterly pure, boundless and bright. This is wisdom itself, all-knowing, all-understanding, and it does not speak. It has no language, no words, yet it knows everything. It is like waking up from a long dream, a dream in which we thought we were human, struggling through countless stories. But upon awakening, we see that all those stories were illusions, and what remains is only this, the pure, wordless knowing that has never been anyone or anything at all. Even in ordinary living, when we go to work and become tired, we can observe the natural condition of the body as it truly is. It simply functions according to its nature. The wise perceive this naturalness without identifying with it. I came to see these natural processes until it became clear. There is no me knowing, happens by itself. Then the question arises, so where is this me? When the inquiry deepens into that point, it rebounds suddenly, like an explosion inside the chest. The whole sense of being a person shatters into fine dust. The belief that I am human, the voice, the images, the emotions, the sensations, the memories, all dissolve completely. When it explodes, there is boundless brightness, spreading throughout the entire universe. Only the formless life element remains, utterly clear, pure, and luminous. That is wisdom, knowing in its entirety. And then comes the realization, ah, so this is what we truly are. this pure element. Yet this state cannot speak. There is no language here. It simply knows, knowing everything, understanding completely. It is like waking from a dream. In the dream, we believe we are human, living our stories, struggling through life. But when we awaken with a start, we realize we belong to another dimension, and all that happened in the dream was an illusion. Do you see? Upon awakening, one steps out of those dimensions altogether. It is as if right now we are creating dimensions of a dream. This body is a three-dimensional form. Distance is another dimension. Time is a subtler one. Then come finer layers: sound, imagery, emotion, perception, memory. These are higher dimensions. The fourth, fifth, sixth, and so on, up to hundreds or millions, depending on how one names them. We are caught in these dimensions of mental fabrication. Do we realize that? When this understanding dawned, all suffering ended completely. The entire mass of suffering that once seemed me, the belief that the body was me, was seen through. The truth became clear. This voice is not me. The mental images, the emotions, the knowing itself, none of these are me. Seeing this truth, suffering vanished entirely. Within this realization, there is only purity. Not even a speck of suffering remains. It never arises. Not in any moment does it truly appear. If each of us understands just this simple truth, we will awaken to our own pure element and be free from suffering. The world will then enter an age of true harmony, the essence of world peace, where all live together in serenity and joy. Listen often to these teachings. Children, the elderly, the disabled, women, men, people of all kinds, all faiths, all races and nations. None of that matters. Only being human matters. Animals cannot hear this, but that's all right. Even the formless beings, the wandering consciousnesses, I and my companions are working continuously to liberate all. I will dismantle every illusion until none remains, ensuring that none will be born again. I speak only about the knowledge that awakens the mind, about all of us, about the truth that leads to complete freedom from suffering. I don't want anything at all. I only wish for you to recognize your own pure, luminous life element so that you may return home. Please return home. Don't be lost in what you are not. Why be fascinated by this body? It isn't truly yours. Return home. Why be attached to this voice that speaks now? This voice isn't yours either. It's just a tool, a natural expression. Thought images, too, are merely instruments that arise and pass as we imagine this and that. Joyful feelings are simply conditions of nature. They appear, change, and fade away. Happiness turns into sadness, and sadness fades again. Like the two sides of a coin, heads and tails, alternating endlessly. It's the same with weather, sometimes cool, sometimes hot. When the sun rises, it grows hotter. When night falls, it becomes cool again. By morning, it's warm once more. That's how emotions are, part of nature's rhythm. Why try to possess or control such things? They are simply what they are. Memory is the same. It just performs its natural duty, sometimes recalling, sometimes forgetting. Even this knowing right now, it hears by itself. You don't have to train it to do that. It smells by itself through the nose, sees by itself through the eyes, hears by itself through the ears. Through the 5 sense windows, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body, knowing arises naturally. None of these instruments are us. So return home. Don't be lost in these tools. When you begin to see these phenomena as natural activities functioning on their own, ask yourself, where is the self in all this? Let us search for what the true we really is. All these instruments are not who we are. Can you see that the coarse aspect, this body, is only a vessel, not the self? Can you see that the subtler layers, this voice, the mental images, the emotions, the memories, the sense of knowing, are also not the self? None of these conditions belong to us. Return home, and you will realize that your true home is the empty, crystal clear life element, precious beyond measure, free from all suffering. This element is untouched by anything. Let me make it clearer. The clear open space before you, which cannot be grasped by the hand, contains oxygen and carbon dioxide. Oxygen is like goodness, carbon dioxide is like badness. But whether the air is good or bad, isn't it still just air? Does it do anything to the space itself? Of course not. The clear open space remains untouched. Air exists within that emptiness, and though it changes, more oxygen by day, more carbon dioxide by night, can either purity or impurity, light or darkness, ever affect that empty, transparent space? Number. Nothing can. Do you see? This clear, empty space. In the beginning, it misunderstood itself as air. When oxygen appeared, the clear emptiness identified itself with the oxygen, thinking, I am good air. When night came and carbon dioxide arose, it thought, I am bad air. The clear emptiness mistook itself for both oxygen and carbon dioxide, for goodness and badness. Do you see? Yet if this transparent space simply learns that these conditions change and transform, it will realize they cannot possibly be me. To compare it with our current understanding, we think we are human beings, right? When this human body dies and we are born as a tadpole, we then believe, I am a tadpole. When the tadpole dies and becomes a lizard, we believe, I am a lizard. When the lizard dies and becomes a dove, we believe, I am a dove. And when the dove dies and becomes a termite, again we believe, I am a termite. So then, what are we really? Do you see? None of those identities are truly us. It's simple, isn't it? Perhaps too simple, but whoever truly understands this will feel completely light and free. Notice that those who listen deeply to these teachings feel open and weightless because they see that nothing is me. Nothing belongs to anyone. That's why the wise have no suffering. How could they suffer when nothing is theirs? Now let's return to the pure element within us. Our pure element is truly clear, absolutely empty, boundless, and all-embracing, pervading the entire universe. Just like the transparent space before us, invisible, untouchable, air exists within it, doesn't it? No matter what kind of air it is, it depends on this emptiness to exist. Air is not the emptiness, yet emptiness mistakenly clings to being air. This is the delusion we all share, mistaking ourselves for the body. Do you understand? I'm only pointing the way, telling you that you can return home now. Everyone can return home, my children. The Father is waiting at home. What are we still searching for? What in all this truly belongs to us? This voice that's speaking, do you think it's yours? It isn't. The voice isn't who we are. We are the radiant, pure element, clear beyond all form. Can you come home now? Or will you still believe this voice is you? The voice has no shape. It's formless. And yet it depends on the formless to exist. Why depend on it? And these mental images, do they have shape or form? Can you touch them? Number. They're merely tools for imagining, for functioning within this world. How could they be who we are? The thoughts that arise are not us. Don't cling to them as the self. And what about emotions? How could they be me? When a painful emotion arises, does that emotion have a body, a shape, or a true self? How could it be me? Tell me, where is the self in that? Why do we cling so tightly to painful emotions, getting lost, agitated, and stressed? See? Once again, we've attached ourselves to a mere emotion. But where truly is the self within an emotion? When joy arises, that pleasant, satisfying feeling, what does it look like? Are we that emotion of joy? Are we that happiness? And when the happiness fades away, where did we go? Then comes a neutral mood. Are we that neutrality? A moment later, irritation appears. And do we then become the irritated one? So what are we really? Are we angry now? What mood are we in at this moment? Irritation, anger, contentment? Are we the energy of anger itself? Wake up, return home. Emotions are just conditions, like mist or smoke. Some people long for peaceful feelings. But are we that peace? Or are we neutrality itself? Or happiness, sorrow, anger, jealousy, restlessness? Which one are we really? Return home. Don't play with these fleeting things. And what about memory? Are we our memories and stories? We recall one thing, then forget another. So what are we? The remembering or the forgetting? Does memory have shape or substance? None at all. Then why do we cling to it as me? When thoughts and images arise, we drift into them. But are we the things we imagine or remember? Wake up. Why keep playing in this world of illusions? Then what about this knowing, the awareness that seems to be here now? You are hearing a sound, yes? So, are you the one who knows the sound? Does that knower have a shape, a form, a body? Does the act of knowing itself have form? Sometimes it knows sound through the ear. A moment later, it knows smell through the nose. Then it knows taste through the tongue. Then it senses coolness or warmth through the skin. So which one are we? The one who knows sound, or the one who knows smell, or sight, or taste, or touch? Which kind of knower are we? Enough. None of these are us. All these instruments are temporary tools, borrowed so that we may experience, create, and learn. Through them, we come to recognize what we truly are, the pure element itself. Without these temporary formations, we could never come to realize our own true nature. It's like the eyeball. The eye itself can never truly know that it is an eye. What it has is the function of seeing. Seeing is simply an activity of the eye. Once there is seeing, there must also be something seen, right? If there were nothing to be seen, the act of seeing would have no meaning. The eye would never recognize itself. Do you understand? The eye cannot know itself without the function of seeing, and without an object being seen. So, for the eye to know itself, it must create something. It must give rise to the act of seeing. Once seeing arises, there must be something seen as well. Suppose what is seen is a tree. When we see the tree, we can then turn the awareness inward and understand. This thing I'm seeing is merely the seen. When wisdom begins to function, we reflect further. All this is the seen. Then the question naturally arises, if there is the seen, there must also be seeing. And if there is seeing, there must be one who sees. What is this seeing like? When the eyes are closed, there is no seeing of forms. When they open, forms appear. With eyes closed, there is still seeing, but only darkness. With eyes open, brightness and images fill the field. That act of seeing itself is what allows us to recognize the process. This is how wisdom uses these instruments to trace back to the very source, to the natural element of awareness itself. When we observe closely, we notice, between the tree and ourselves, there is an open space. The seeing occurs through that space, extending to that distance, encompassing that image. This act of seeing perceives everything within its field. But then, who is it that truly sees? The image seen is obviously not us. And this act of seeing, it too must have an origin. The tree is seen because there is seeing, and seeing occurs because something gives rise to it. When we trace back inward to the source of seeing, we come to realize, so we are the eye itself, the one that gives birth to the act of seeing. We have been seeking the eye for so long, not realizing that we are the very one who generates sight to behold the form. This understanding arises through turning inward, recognizing the original source of perception. In the same way, the pure, transparent element within us, the luminous emptiness, can only come to know itself by creating energy, the energy of manifestation. It gives rise to the movements of perception. Like a mist it forms around itself, or like clear space blowing a bubble around its own essence so that it might appear to have form. Through that bubble, it can ripple, sensing, reacting, expressing. That ripple then attaches itself to a vessel, the physical body. Yet we are not that body. We are the clear emptiness within the bubble. Even the bubble itself, this subtle form of vibration and awareness, is something we created to experience perception. Through it, the pure element vibrates into sound, into thought images, into emotions of joy, sorrow, calm, or neutrality. All these ripples, all these memories, are but the thin film of the bubble, encasing the radiant emptiness inside. When we finally turn inward and realize, all of this that we've been relying on, playing with, identifying with, none of it is truly us, then the question naturally arises, if all that is not me, then where is the I? If the voice speaking right now isn't who we are, then where is that sense of me? The knowing that knows, it knows by itself. So where is the one who owns it? Let the mind answer. Search deeply, find it. And when the moment of revelation bursts forth, tears fall uncontrollably, as if a radiant explosion erupts in the center of the chest, a silent detonation that floods the whole cosmos with brilliant light. In that instant, we realize this clear, living emptiness, this formless, pure life element that fills the universe, is what we truly are. Tears flow endlessly, unstoppable. The realization dawns. It is unborn. It never arises. And from that moment onward, it remains so, unchanged. I tell you, this is how it is for me, always. There is no sense that the one speaking now is me. What speaks is unrelated to any self. These vibrations, they are merely ripples, yet even to call them ripples is not quite true. This sound, which we conventionally call voice, reveals itself as not even sound at all. It has no name, no meaning, no owner, no listener. There is no speaker, no hearer, no sound. Language itself disappears. Nothing remains to label or describe. What remains is crystal clarity, pure luminous awareness pervading the universe. It is not born. It never arises, yet it knows continuously that it is not born. The wise live like this. From now on, speak only of the mind, of freedom from suffering, of the purity that never fades. Live with that clarity, which is untouched by anything in this world. If the body becomes ill, see a doctor. If it can be cured, let it be cured. If not, let it dissolve. It breaks apart, and that's all right, because we are not anything at all. If you're interested in these teachings on awakening, mind observation, and transcending suffering through wisdom, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Share your insights in the comments, provide productive feedback, and if you find this content valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.